fuck's sake.
Just what wins back.
Yeah. Welcome to Mike White's podcast, episode 146, which I have titled Garbage and Other Synonyms, because I wanted to call it shite, but I don't know if that'd trigger anything and make the feed break. The alternative title is I've Learned Life is One Crushing Defeat After Another Until You Just Wish Flanders Was Dead. I'm Jack, joined by KC.
Yeah, I'm here. It's as good as it gets, I suppose.
Yeah, I am. Fair play to the square ball lads for actually doing the match ball, because if I'd have done one straight after, it'd have just been me swearing for 45 minutes. That Leeds 0, Villa 3. That was absolutely appalling.
Yeah, there was just there was nothing to come at. Like, the best thing I can say about that game is it finished.
Yeah, it was so weird because, like, obviously all the goals are weak. It was poor defending for all of them. But like for about 10 minutes, we pressed them. And especially we pressed Tyrone Mings because he's not very good on the ball. And he passed the ball straight out of play and he hoofed it into touch a couple of times. And you thought, right, see, we're pressuring him here. And then after 10 minutes, we just stopped doing it. And they just passed the ball around us. And it was so easy for them.
Yeah, I felt sorry for Bamford by the time he'd come on, because he just had so little to work off. It was just there was nothing. That first half we created absolutely nothing, and the second half we created barely anything.
I would still say we created nothing, because the only chances I'd say counted as efforts were Gelhart's one from distance that was straight at the keeper, and Bamford's one in about the 92nd minute where they'd stopped playing. I can't quite believe how bad we were. I know that I went for a draw on here because I thought, oh no, we might be able to get something, but I wasn't expecting a win or something. It's not like I was going in expecting us to be great, but I can't believe how bad that was. That is, I honestly think, and I'm trying to not just have rose tinted glasses. I mean it. I think that was worse than Everton and Southampton.
It very much reminded. In fact, no, that would be generous. I was going to say it reminded me of the second half of the Newcastle game at Elland Road, but at times there we actually got into the threatening positions and just didn't do anything with it. This, I couldn't tell you what we did with the ball.
I can tell you what we did with the ball. We gave it away.
Yeah, just over and over. And it didn't even seem to be. There's been times this season when an Everton away is probably a good example of it, where we've tried to play quickly and we've lost possession because we've played a pass either behind the man or whatever. This seems to be so many passes that, under not a lot of pressure, that were just thumped forward or smashing it across the field, nowhere near Stuart Dallas. It was all manner of passes that just went either straight out of play or straight back to them.
Yeah, and if you can't pass the ball, you can't do anything. And we have been on about it all season. This has been a problem right the way through. Players just missing simple passes that last season they wouldn't have. But that on Thursday night was a whole different level. Because if 2 or 3 players keep missing simple passes, you think, well, they're just having bad games. But when everyone's doing it, you start to wonder if it's a bigger, more systemic issue. And I do wonder, and I'm by no means the first person to have said this, but I know they both like to press, so off the ball there are some similarities. But Bielsa, play wide, make the pitch big, build up in wide areas. Marsh, play narrow, make the pitch small, play it through quickly. It's complete opposites. And I think the ones that showed it the most last night, even though they weren't the worst players on the pitch, one of them might have been. One of them's in the conversation. And it's not the one that Twitter thinks it is. But
Tyler Roberts.
Rafinha and Harrison in that first half, we were playing that 4-2-2 formation, and they just kept running out to the wing, which isn't what you do if you want that formation to work. They look like they legitimately didn't know what role they were meant to be playing. And that's a disaster. Like, one could go and one tuck inside, but there were times where they just spread the pitch wide against their Everton's 4 central players who just buggered off through the middle. I mean, like, it's a weird one. I genuinely think, I put this on Twitter and I still think it's true. But I've now realised I was slightly harsh by saying, because Meslier did fine. Outfield players, there isn't a single one I could say definitely didn't do better than 6 out of 10. And I'm not sure anyone hit 6 out of 10.
I'd put Luke Ayling at that level. I'm not saying his performance was perfect, but with him there seemed to be a level of desire there, at least. He was throwing himself into blocks and challenges. I thought he at times he was coming out of defence quite well, and positioning himself to receive the ball back from typically from Stuart Dallas. Outside of that, no, and some of that's, I thought, like I said, Bamford didn't really have a lot to work with, save for Joe Gelhardt in the second half. Yeah. I thought first half we got the worst of Dan James's running into a hole, just running down alleys and getting absolutely nowhere with it. I don't know whether. The thing that makes this so frustrating is if we'd have had this performance off the back of the Spurs game, you'd have been like, yeah, this is how we're playing at the moment. But after the Leicester game, you were there with a bit of hope. And I know Villa are a good team and they'd won a couple of games in succession going into this. But we didn't give them a game.
It wasn't even competitive, was it?
No, and I don't want to take away from Aston Villa because, I said before, their front six is a pretty impressive team. But we did make their life very easy.
Well, I mean, as I was saying earlier, like Tyrone Mings, I know that there's a lot of stick from Leeds fans for Tyrone Mings, and some of it's deserved, some of it isn't. But as a technical footballer, he isn't good. So you press him when he's got the ball and you make it difficult for him to do things. What you don't do is just chip balls at his head.
No, the man jumps like Darryl Strawberry.
Yeah, he'll deal with that all day. And, I mean, the big man he was against was Rodrigo.
Oh, God, Rodrigo.
Like, that sort of things. Like, obviously, everyone was shit, really. So it's not really digging out. But, like, Junior Firpo was so awful in that game. Like, he was abysmal, and I don't think he was in the worst 3. Because I think Rodrigo, Harrison, and Struijk were all worse than him. And that is going some. Especially Rodrigo. Rodrigo, I can't. That's another one of the. I actually can't believe how bad he was.
I don't think I remember seeing Rodrigo have a touch where I felt like the ball was under control at any point. He was playing like I do at 5-a-side at times. He never had the ball where he wanted it. He never seemed confident when he had it. It was just. It was all, like I said. There's nothing anyone in an attacking sense did that really threatened them. I think Douglas Luiz, Mings, and Callum Chambers won't have many easier nights.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Mings was playing alongside Callum Chambers, who defensively, again, is not that good. But we made him look really good and made him look very good at the end, although that was a good finish. The one, I didn't see it myself, but I did listen to the match ball while I was working yesterday morning. That Square Ball did. And they had a stat on there that Jack Harrison touched the ball 38 times and he lost it 19, which is pretty spectacularly awful. And I'm just wondering if they're going to play this formation, maybe it needs to be the diamond, so we've got 3 at middle of midfield. And if that means that you have to drop Harrison and Rafinha, so be it. Because you can't carry on with that sort of stuff. It's not the goal. Like, we haven't even bothered going through the goals because what's the point? Like, first one.
That is exactly how I felt after the game.
Yeah.
What's the point?
First one, shit defending, and then we don't get back into position, and then an unlucky deflection. Second one, Strout smashes it over Dallas's head, gives away a throw-in. Then we don't close the ball down. Then Matty Cash has 25 yards of space at the far post.
And it was amazing how much room he had.
Yeah. I know we play narrow, but I shouldn't be able to be sat in the stand-upper and 12 seconds before the goal shout, far side for fuck's sake. And then the ball goes across and he cuts inside with the most telegraphed cut inside you've ever seen. And Firpo just runs that way.
Firpo looked like he was just sprinting out of the stadium the way he went to close that down.
Yeah.
I think at that point, was it Dan James who is the one who's probably meant to be tracking him to some degree?
Sort of. I know it's not man-to-man, but by that point, Bamford is on the pitch. So he's gone to the left side.
But
I suppose that's one of the things.
Sorry.
Marsh wants them to play narrow. One of his things is if you go across and press the ball on one side, you don't have to worry about the other side because the ball's never going to get there. Well, one, I don't think any team is that good at pressing that you can give them 20 yards of space.
And
two, even if some teams are, we certainly fucking aren't. You can't. I just don't think it's going to work. I just think we've bollocksed it.
Yeah. I've got nothing. I really have for this.
It's understandable. I mean, like the third one, I know Cross comes in and it's sort of half clear, but again, it falls to Tyrone Mings, who if you put under pressure won't do anything. Put him under no pressure so he can lay it off. Callum Chambers, he hits it first time. It's a really good finish, but no one's closing it down. It's just such simple things. It was so bad. I've asked this on many occasions this season. We both agreed on no for a while. Then I went to yes and you went to no. And now I ask again, are we fucked?
If we don't beat Norwich, yes. That's where I am at the moment. And I even include, even if we draw, well, then yeah. It's got to be a win.
If we don't beat Norwich, I don't just think, there's a good chance we're going down. If we don't beat Norwich, I think we are down. I really think it's that simple. And I know there's still time and all of that, but I just don't see it. If we lose to Norwich, think how little confidence those players have got now. Imagine what will happen if they get beat at home by Norwich. Imagine what's going to happen in that stadium if we get beat. Or even draw. Because that on Thursday night is the first time I've heard it turn poisonous in a long time. Under Bielsa, I saw us get battered, and they sung and they clapped them off, and there was none of that on Thursday. And I do not blame the fans for it at all because I didn't boo them off, but I don't blame anyone that did. They absolutely deserved it.
Yeah, at the end of the first half, it felt like the booing was probably directed somewhat at the referee.
It was mostly, definitely.
By the end of the game, it was just a diabolical performance.
Yeah, we. I just can't say. Like I have no faith at all that we're going to get a result. I have put money on Norwich because they're like 5-1 nearly, and no one's the dog and duck aren't 5-1 to beat us at the minute. It's like there's no way we should be nearly 1-2, like in terms of odds on. I just think it's, and I really want to lose the money. God, I want to lose the money. I also want to lose all those bets at 6 and 7 to 1 on us getting relegated. I want to lose every single one of them, but I just don't see it. I just think we're knackered. The only thing we could take from Thursday is that Watford and Norwich got beat.
Yeah. And Norwich scored.
Yeah.
Against Chelsea.
Yeah. It's such a, I honestly think that right now, I really do think we're the worst team in the division right now. But maybe we'll improve because Firpo's probably out for the season. I haven't seen it back on the TV. Did there look to be anything in the tackle?
No, it looked fairly innocuous, but I'm guessing by the looks of things, he's got his foot trapped or his stud stuck in the turf, and that's kind of done it. But no, it wasn't anything in particular when I was watching it. I tried watching it a couple of times, and it was, which made it quite surprising when you see a stretcher coming on.
Yeah, it was. I mean, at least he got clapped off by both sets of fans, because if he'd have walked off the pitch under his own power, he probably wouldn't have got that.
Can I just say there is some...
The Villa fans might have.
Good lad, Junior. The one thing I will say, he was having a huff of oxygen when he was on the stretcher, and it does just look like a vape pen. I don't know. It has a very Sunday League feel to it. I'm knackered. Hang on.
It's not the only thing about watching him that has a Sunday League feel to it, mate. I can tell you that for certain. I tried with him. I really did. Because in theory, he made sense as a signing, but he's just been awful in net. He's had 4 good games and 10 bad ones. It's just, you can't deal with it. And the problem for him now is, and we've said it before, but that Bielsa shield has gone. So Marsh is going to get no time. If this keeps going bad, they'll turn on him. They're already turning on Radrizzani and Orta. And again, based on the last 3 transfer windows, that's not unfair either. It's just that they had the magic man, and now they don't anymore. And it just exposes everything else.
It's no, it's a tough one. I felt sorry for Marsh, because I have seen some of the comments I saw, and look, I fully appreciate how bad we were in that game, and it was a terrible performance. But the people saying Marsh looks out of his depth, when, I don't think that anyone could have come away from the Leicester game saying that. So how you come with that opinion after 2 games, where one of them we came away with our highest XG of the season, I think it was.
It wasn't the highest number, but it was his best differential.
Yeah.
It was 2.1 to 0.4 or something.
We created a lot of chances. We attacked fairly well in that one. There's no way you could have come away from that game saying Jesse Marsh hasn't got this. But he will be under pressure, and tomorrow is a ridiculously massive game.
Yeah, tomorrow it's everything. We have to win. I don't give a shit how we perform in that game. We just have to win.
No, this very much has a God. I hope one goes in off Pascal Strike's arse, and we win 1-0.
Because luckily for us, the one thing giving us a chance is there's a load of really bad teams at the minute. I still think the rest of them are playing better than we are, but they do keep losing. So, maybe if we can just sneak a couple of wins next, if we could beat Norwich and maybe they get a bit of confidence, and then we play well enough that we can nick a couple of things, maybe we can be okay. Just by the start just because everyone else is rubbish and loses a load of games. And maybe we can, and this really will be how it is. It won't be We Survived. We'll have weaseled out of getting relegated.
Mm.
And like, weaseling out of things is important to learn. It's what separates us from the animals, apart from the weasel.
I think that's 3 Simpsons references we've got in there now.
It's because we did that quiz on Monday that ended up being Simpsons themed, so they've been in my head all week now.
What a quiz as well.
Yeah.
Barge Simpson.
Mm.
Can we talk about that instead? That was fun.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what. I will quickly talk about last night because I got to go to I got to go to an evening with Mark Viduka, who is still a very laid back Australian man as it goes. And there was nothing. There was no revelations coming out of it or anything like that. But really nice to see Mark Viduka back. Eric Backer was there, who honestly he should play tomorrow if his knees weren't 80 years old, because he looks like 24.
Yeah, when I got that picture taken with Calvin Phillips and I said, you want to make yourself look bad, you stand next to Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
If you want to make yourself look bad, Casey, have a picture taken with Eric Backer.
Yeah. God, he looks fantastic. Really, really nice to sort of meet him, and they didn't end up doing the talk with Don Matteo. It was more just it was a quick chat about the charities. Fantastic evening. The auctions were mad. I was there thinking, like, I don't have a lot of money, but I was like, if there's a signed shirt or something, I've got enough to at least compete in one of these for a couple of £100. No. Like, I think Rafinha's signed shirt, I think they're all framed as well, went for about £1,500. The Meliers went for 1,100. I think they had 10 signed Calvin Phillips shirts that he was also going to personalize, and they each went for 1,100.
Yeah.
It was mad.
Yeah, if I'd have gone, I would have wanted one, but I couldn't have justified that.
No, he did talk. Mark Viduka did talk a little bit about the interest from AC Milan after the first season with us. It's obviously that's kind of the club he supported as a kid, as you do as a young Australian with Croatian heritage.
Yeah,
you support AC Milan
and Melbourne, Croatia.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I believe that's what they were before they turned into Melbourne Victory, didn't they? Eventually,
yes. But he did say that the offer came in, but at the time, I think him and his wife were looking to start a family at that point, so they bought a house and they were very happy at Leeds at the time. If only he'd had a crystal ball to see what would be happening in 2 years' time. Didn't ask him many questions about Peter Reid, strangely. What was it he said about him? If you want to get relegated, this is the guy. I think is what he said at the time. But no, really nice just hearing from him, hearing him talk about it got geopolitical very quickly because part of his family is Ukrainian. And he was talking about the war basically taking place when he moved to Dinamo Kiev, not Kiev. Zagreb, thank you. And you're there going, Christ, you can't get away from these wars in Eastern Europe. But yeah, really nice guy. Really great to see Don Matteo out. I think there was David O'Leary and Paul Robinson there as well.
Yeah, that makes sense because obviously Viduka was sat next to O'Leary, wasn't he, at the game?
Yeah, one of the auction items actually, I think it went for about £5,000, was to basically get 6 mates to play 2 4-balls of Team David O'Leary versus Team Neil Ruddock, who, yes, and it was Neil Ruddock who introduced this prize over with a video.
Oh, I was going to say with a video. I was going to say, really? They brought him up just for that?
I mean, I know obviously he'll know Don Matteo from his time at Liverpool. But yeah, he didn't travel for that one. This was from it was basically a cameo for him. But yeah, absolutely fantastic people. Christ, it's a good job. They never do these auctions before the meal, do they?
Well, no, you need to get a bit of booze down, everyone.
Well, my mum was desperate to bid on a Calvin Phillips shirt, and I was just like, no. I love Calvin, but no one in this household is paying more than £400 for one of those shirts. I don't care whose it is. She did also come out with. They were asking Mark Viduka about. I think this is something to do with a remake of Escape to Victory, and he was talking about the original. Like the original story, where it was like a POW camp in Hungary played a Nazi team. He basically went, and at the end, they won, but the Nazis shot them. And my mum went, they shot them, yeah. And this woman on the table next to it just shot her a look at her. She's not a Nazi, she's just drunk.
Yeah,
it's fine. It was a poor choice of words.
She was knowing where the story was going.
Yeah, it was not a celebratory. Yeah, they shot those bastards.
It was more, they shot them, yeah, but in a drunk voice.
Yeah. So I'm glad we moved on from that.
And so I'm going to say, speaking of shootings, Junior Firpo. No,
I do not like the look of that leg.
No. So on to tomorrow. Norwich at home. El Crapico, as it is being called on Twitter.
Right. The team that has lost 5 in a row versus the team that has lost 6 in a row.
Leeds have the worst form of any team in the top 5 leagues in Europe, and I believe any team in the top 7 leagues in England. We're bad. So yeah, Norwich are poor. Norwich will get relegated this season.
Yeah, just I was looking at the table. It's gone. I mean, they have scored 17 goals this season. They've only conceded 3 less than us. Bearing in mind,
but they've only scored 17, and we've only conceded 3 more. That is a really poor record when you think how bad ours is.
Yeah. I really don't want to watch this game, to be honest.
I was sorting with my dad about going to the game tomorrow, about what time we were going to go. And he said, what time should we set off? And I jokingly said to him, I know, 5 to 2.
3 o'clock, just to make sure you really miss it.
Just to make sure we miss it. But yeah, obviously they're definitely going to go down. But that doesn't really change our chances that much, I don't think. Their team will be a 4-3-3 because it has been in all the games lately, and Adam Ida's injured. So, and Josh Sargent is Josh Sargent, so he's not going to play up front. So it will be Pookie. So they'll have to play 4-3-3. Be Krull in goal, back 4, probably Aarons, Grant Hanley, Ben Gibson, Brandon Williams playing left back on loan from Scum. Kabak might play centre back. He might replace one of them. Probably Norman holding mid, and then McLean and Gilmore. Although I believe the Norwich fans all hate Billy Gilmore, don't
they? Yeah. Sorry. I'm
so maybe like Lucas Rupp or someone could play.
I was just looking at their squad on Google, and coming up as a striker is John Lowe. And then when you click on him,
does it go to darts player, John?
Yes, it is. It is 76, and it's including a picture. 76-year-old John Lowe, MBE.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they've got a kid who's been on the bench called John Lowe, but I don't know. Yeah,
I'd prefer it to be the darts player. I'd feel more confident.
Yeah. Probably Sargent right wing. Pookie up front, Milot Rashika left wing. Rashika's quite good. He looks a decent player. Max Aarons is a good right back. Brandon Williams is decent at left back. If you give Teemu Pukki chances, he is a good enough finisher to punish you. And we give everyone chances.
Yeah, we do.
There's not loads to say about their team, is it? That is a team that everyone in this league should beat that team.
Absolutely. So why won't we?
Why won't we? That's the question. Well, we can't pass the ball through midfield. We can't build up. The players don't seem to understand the system they're playing. We defensively look just as brittle as we did under Bielsa, but with far less threat in attack. Obviously, Firpo's out, so Dallas is going to play left back because Hjelder's also out, so there isn't anyone else. Unless he just throws Liam McCarron in, who also isn't really a left back.
It would either that or strike.
I suppose. I mean, he did say in the press that it will be Dallas unless he changed his mind since Thursday. But I suppose it could be you could do Strauch and then play like Koch and Llorente or Cresswell and one of them. What will we change? Because surely, I know that Bielsa, awful performance. You did always think, no, knowing Bielsa will pick the same team again and tell him, right, put it right. But I'm not expecting that this time. I could see there being a few changes.
Yeah, and I know it's easy to say this with hindsight now, but I did think Click was unlucky to get dropped after the Leicester game.
Yeah, you did say after the Leicester game that he did well, and a few people said the same, to be honest. I think he'll be back in for certain.
Yeah, I wonder if, not that I particularly want to see it as a central midfield again, but I wonder if he'll try Click and Forshaw again.
That's what I'm expecting, because Llorente was so out of form before that injury that I think it'll be Koch drops to centre back and plays alongside Strauch. Ayling right back, Dallas left back.
Yeah, I don't think I read through the full press conference. Is there any update on whether Bamford will be fit enough to start, or
nothing that I've heard? I'm just hoping he is.
Yeah, we need him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll do this. The other thing that I'd be tempted by, and it sounds ridiculous, but because our wingers seem to not understand that they're meant to be inverting and coming in field, I would be so genuinely tempted to play like Rafinha on the right and play like Click in the other one. Play it off the left and just go, wait, play as a 10 that's a bit wider and just be up the pitch. And because I just don't think, like, Harrison's performance was so bad, I think you've got to drop him. But I don't particularly want to see Dan James in that role either. I don't think there's any chance in hell that it'll happen, but I'd be tempted to do something like that because I just can't think of... the other idea that I think would be worthwhile is playing Gelhardt in that role. Or even, as much as he was shy, or playing Rodrigo in that role.
Yeah.
Because I would also drop Rodrigo because for the same reason as Harrison, just because he was awful.
Yeah. I would quite like us to start with Bamford and Gelhardt just to see. Yeah, like I can't see us dropping Rafinha. No matter how bad he has been.
No,
I don't see it happening. I think it will be Rafinha and James in the more advanced,
in the inverted wide positions.
And
so you think Rafinha and James, and probably do you reckon that it'll be Bamford, or do you think? Because if he's fit enough for 60 minutes, they'll have to chance it.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have him on, unless we go with the bold strategy of sub him on like halfway through the first half.
Yeah,
really mess with them. But yeah, I mean, if they think he can do 60 to 70 minutes, I think he's got to start.
Yeah, and if he's struggling, you can take him off.
But
I think you've got to take the chance. And if he's up with Gelhardt, I'll be happy. I won't be happy to see Rodrigo if he plays at all because of how bad he was. But if he plays up front with Rodrigo, it does make sense. Even though I'm pissed off with Rodrigo and don't want to see him.
Yeah, the only other thing I did think about last night is, depending on how he looks at the defence and how they've played, does he stick with Ayling at centre back and bring Jamie Shackleton in there?
I think it's possible because Ayling did pretty well against Leicester, and although everyone was awful against Villa, so I wouldn't say he played well. You're not the only person who said he was best of a bad bunch. I think during the game I was too pissed off at how shite we were to notice him doing things well, to be honest. But a lot of people have said the same, and he seems to like him there, and he is the one who's been bringing the ball out and been tasked with that role. So it could well be that he keeps Ayling and Strout together and plays Shackleton at right back. But if he does, then will he just drop cock or will he keep him in midfield? Because I thought some of his passing was, imagine what Forshaw's was as well. Like both of them, the passing was terrible.
There are too many poor performances to drop them all.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I am waiting for me to get pissed off enough at some point to suggest Sam Greenwood starts, because
put Mark Jackson in charge and play the kids.
If they're that bad again, then I will start going, fuck it, just like where is Lewis Pate?
Yeah, I really don't know at this point. I don't know if I even care. I just whoever I've got to the point where it's like, it's not that I don't care about the game or anything like that. It's more just right now I don't care who plays. I just want them to play well. I've got no, outside of, don't put Robertson Firpo in. Let's not do anything stupid here. But outside of that, just whoever gets picked, just pass it to someone that you're aiming for. Look at them first, and then just pass it to them, and then they get it. And then if you're Adam Forshaw, you run in a little circle first, then you look up and you pass it to that person. Unless there's someone in the way and you think, well, I'll go somewhere else then. It's not that hard.
No, coaching's easy. They should just be giving you the job, shouldn't they?
I mean, we did get a 9-2 win against Methley today, so.
Ooh, Methley.
I am on it.
Local derby.
I know.
It's no longer 5-1 on Norwich. It's now 9-2. I just thought I'd have a look. So that will have been moved by Leeds fans back in Norwich. All we've to do, mate, is predictions. I predict a poisonous atmosphere that's really just a crowd they are singing, but there's an edge to it. The first bad pass is going to get the loudest groan you've heard in your life. I think if we don't score in the first 15 minutes, we lose.
Oh, God. I can't bear the thought of losing this game.
I am going to go for 2-0 Norwich. I think
you're back to that, are you?
I think this isn't just the... I mean, it is because I'm a pessimist and because I'm protecting myself from myself and all of that. All of that is still true, but I genuinely think we're going to lose. There's other games where I thought we might win, but I've predicted a loss for superstitious reasons. No, this one I think we're going to lose. I think that we will go behind. I think we'll be poor, and then we'll push forward late on, and they'll get a second. That's what I think is going to happen. God, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong so much. I hope that you can all tweet me and call me a moron and a plastic fan and all of that stuff. But I just don't fancy us to win this game.
I can't see us not winning this game. I'm not allowed. I'm I'm not allowing myself to picture. I don't want to live in a world where we don't win this game. They're not a good team. They're just not. The game at Carrow Road was dreadful, but they didn't do anything.
No, because they really could have got some out of that. I mean, it was only Tim Krul's screw up on that Rodrigo shot, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that allowed us to nick a win.
I really hope that Rafinha just looks at Brandon Williams today and just points him and says "you" just before kickoff, and then runs rings around him all afternoon.
Yeah, that is one thing.
I really hope Kabak plays because I think he's shit.
Yeah. Well, be careful saying stuff like that because obviously my dad has described Callum Chambers as the competition winner because he thinks he's won a competition to play in the Premier League, and then he scored a really good goal against us. But yeah, so what is your actual score, Casey?
3-0 lead.
God, that's so optimistic.
Wildly optimistic. Unnecessarily optimistic.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you're right. That will do us for the podcast. I mean, like the last few titles, I think have been pain, sorrow, frustration, and now garbage. So hopefully the next one can be something positive.
Aside from that, we're just going to start naming them after the 5 stages of grief.
No, the next one might be just called nihilism.
Well, at the moment, Brentford and Burnley are still drawing 0-0, which puts Everton in the relegation zone on goal difference.
Well, actually, we should sort of say with that game, it's 0-0 now. Not many watch live anyway, but we knew no one would be watching this one live. 0-0. I suppose 0-0 is fine, but if one of them's going to win, you've got to want Brentford, really. I know that Burnley have got the games in hand, but you've just got anyone who's below us. You don't want getting anything.
Just a draw, lose all of them.
Yeah, you can. I can live with a draw, but we can't. Burnley. We really can't have Burnley win this.
Yeah, I mean the game's tomorrow. Everton are at home to Wolves, which is a winnable game for them.
It's winnable. I mean, Wolves have got something to play for, luckily.
Yeah, Southampton at home to Watford.
That's 2 bad teams at the minute. Southampton are really out of form.
And then the 2 worst teams, which is us and Norwich.
Yeah.
Newcastle away at Chelsea as well. If we're still talking about Newcastle,
there's absolutely nothing to worry about in terms of Newcastle.
they are.
Newcastle are 8 points ahead of us. Their form for their last 5 games is 4 wins and a draw.
Yeah. And then Monday night, it's been cancelled. It was Tonga versus the Cook Islands. That was the big one on Monday night. But
that's a shame. I was looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Christ, I hate looking. It's so different looking at other teams' results when you're trying to avoid relegation than it is when you are the early kickoff in the Championship every Saturday. And then you're checking all the fixtures for the rest of the weekend, see if anyone's caught you up if you've dropped points. Like, it's upsetting if you do that, but at least you're in a promotion chase. This is
just the worst. Like, it really is. That's one thing with this that I can't really tell, but I've heard a few people who are a bit older than us say this, that right now this team is worse than the team that went down in 2004. And the thing is that I can't really remember because I was 14. But what I do remember is we were in games more than this.
I mean, the last time I think Andrew Dalton said it yesterday. The last time we lost 6 in a row, we played against a team in the relegation zone, and we beat them 4-1. That was the win at Wolves.
Oh, is that we're not dead yet?
Yeah, that was the false dawn.
Yeah. To be honest, right now I'd take a false dawn. At least there's some sunlight.
So I don't know if you want to hang your hat on that one, but that's
No,
yeah.
I've just heard a few people say it, and I just wondered. I wonder if we are. It feels like we are, but it might be because I'm old now.
I'm trying to think because I think it's a tough one to do because I think you look at the team we have available now might not be as good as that team. Like, think if you had a fully fit Bamford and Calvin Phillips to it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that might change it somewhat.
Because that season, is that the one where we got beat 6 at Portsmouth?
Yeah, that was Peter Reid's last game.
Yeah, like
that was Roque Jr. at holding mid.
All right, you know what? You just said the words Roque Jr. at holding mid, and you know what? They're not as bad.
Yeah, Mark Viduka was very charitable and described the loanees that came in as not up to the same standard as the players that left, which I think is a massive understatement to describe Cyril Chapuis as not quite up to the standards of, let's say, Robbie Fowler or Robbie Keane.
Yeah.
So, yeah, an optimistic note to end on.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll do us for episode 146. God, I hope we've got to do something tomorrow. We've just got to. We've got to win. Right. So I've nothing else to say. Have you, mate?
No.
Cool. Right. Well, I've been Jack. See ya.
I've been Casey. Try and get through the game tomorrow.
Yeah. For the love of God, please let us have